Hey, it's Taylor, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I set up my first PPC campaigns for a new product on Amazon. If you're new to the channel, I'm Taylor the Ecom RN. I started selling on Amazon in 2023. I went on to do over $100,000 in profit in my first 12 months, which allowed me to quit my job and live the lifestyle of my dreams. And I want to show you exactly how I did it. All right, so let's keep working through the checklist here. We are getting down to it now. This video is going to be part of module number 9, making your first sales and optimizing your ad campaigns. So let me pull up a quick presentation I made to walk you through this. All right, so first, the quick disclaimer, I am by no means a PPC expert. This is a whole industry in and of itself. You can actually hire ad agencies to manage your Amazon ad account for you because it can become an entire job unto itself, especially if you have multiple products with multiple campaigns. But I can speak pretty confidently for the level that a new seller is at in terms of launching their first PPC campaigns and what things you should keep in mind and what things have worked for me. So this is just my take on how I like to launch PPC campaigns for new products. So first and foremost, what is PPC? PPC stands for pay per click. Essentially, you're going to bid on sponsored product placements, and then you pay Amazon every time a customer clicks on your ad. Some things that you want to keep in mind are your ACoS, or your advertising cost of sales. This is the amount that you're spending on the ad expressed as a percentage. And so it's your ad spend divided by the sales revenue times 100, and that'll give you a percentage. And the reason why you want to know this is because you're going to compare this to your profit margin. You need to know your profit margin so that you can accurately assess whether your ads are profitable or not. And we'll just stick with ACoS for now. So it's quite simple. If your ACoS is lower than your profit margin, then your ads are net profitable. Essentially, the more you spend on this ad, the more money you will make. On the other hand, if your ACoS is higher than your profit margin, that particular ad is net negative. Okay, so you're actually losing money on that ad. Now, it gets quite a bit more complicated. There's another term called TACoS, which is essentially your total ad spend over your total revenue. There are some schools of thought on advertising where essentially not only will you be getting a boost in sales from the advertisements directly, but the theory is that you will actually get more organic sales as well as your sales velocity increases and your organic search rank improves because you've been running the ads. So this takes a little bit more work to figure out. We won't go into it in this video, but just keep in mind if someone else is like, oh no, you can run your ACoS higher than your profit margin and still make money. It's true, you can if you're keeping track of your TACoS, but that's just above the scope of this video. This is just for your first PPC campaign when you're brand new, launching your first product. So we're going to keep it simple. And let me show you exactly what I mean in terms of sponsored product placements and how the bids work. So you'll see here, I've searched on Amazon for hip and joint supplements for dogs. And if we come down to the search results, you'll see here that these first 4 all have this little sponsored icon underneath. These are ads. And so essentially what's happened is this product and this seller bid the most. They won the bid for this first advertising placement. Okay, this is the most expensive placement. This is the best placement because it's the first one. And so they won the bid. They paid the most. They won this spot. And so on down the rankings here with these. These are all spots that these different companies bid so that their product could be showcased here. And these bids and the cost of winning them will change based on which spot you get. And so, for example, if we scroll down the page a little further, you'll see these are all organic results, organic results, organic results. And then about halfway down the page, we once again get 4 more sponsored product placements. So again, these are ads that these companies bid on, but these were lower cost bids. Okay, so they didn't win the first 4 ranks. They won these next 4 down in the middle of the page. So these aren't as expensive to win, but they also don't perform as well because they're farther down the page. Okay, so that was just quickly an example of what I'm talking about with PPC and sponsored product placements. Let's get a little bit more into this. So we're going to be talking about campaigns, ad groups, and products. These are the 3 components of an ad campaign on Amazon. A campaign is kind of the highest level, broadest category or biggest umbrella. So you'll create a campaign and ad groups and products can go inside of that campaign. From the campaign level, you control the budget, the goal, and the dates of the ad, and you're targeting the users based on shopping and browsing history. The next one down the hierarchy, the next smallest category here under campaigns is ad groups. So your ad group will be inside of a campaign, and your ad group controls the bids, the audience, the placement, and the delivery of your ads. And an ad group targets keywords and or products. And then farthest down the hierarchy, the lowest rung of the hierarchy is the products. And these are the ASINs that you are going to be advertising. So these are the actual products that you want to advertise. And again, you can put multiple products into an ad group, and you can put multiple ad groups into a campaign. And don't worry, I'm going to be going through my actual ad account and show you exactly how this works and how to set it up. All right, so my PPC strategy for new products is, as I've mentioned before, first to wait until I have 3 to 5 reviews on the product. In my experience, running ads right out the gate before I have any reviews just results in a lot higher ACoS than I like, and doesn't really give me the results that I want. So overall, I would say I'm pretty conservative with my advertising. I just don't like to spend that much money on it. I don't like to run campaigns that aren't profitable, and especially for other new sellers who have a limited budget and really want to make every dollar count, I think this is the best way to do it. So wait till you have a couple reviews. Maybe you don't want to wait for 3 to 5. Maybe you only want to wait for 1 or 2 reviews, but I do recommend waiting for at least a few reviews. And then what I recommend you do is actually set up 4 ad campaigns for your new product, okay? Now, this is going to be in 2 different phases, but in all, you're going to create 4 campaigns, and each 4 of these campaigns is going to have 1 single ad group and 1 single product, your new product. 2 of these are going to be research campaigns, and 2 of these are going to be performance campaigns. So what do I mean by this? Here is the 4 campaign approach. Essentially, what you need to do when you first start running ads is you need to collect data. You need to understand which keywords you can profitably bid on and which products you can profitably bid on to advertise your product. So the first step is to collect data. And so the way to do that is to set up the very first campaign, research campaign number 1, which is just an auto campaign. So nothing fancy here. You'll just go in, add your product to an auto campaign. And the goal of this is just to discover product targets, keyword targets, and to get data. Similarly, the next campaign you're going to launch shortly thereafter or simultaneously with this auto campaign is research campaign number 2. And this campaign is going to be focusing strictly on keywords. Okay, so this will be a manual keyword, broad, and phrase campaign. And once again, this is to discover keyword targets and to get data. Now, once you have compiled some data from these 2 research campaigns, you're going to implement performance campaigns. So these campaigns are designed to maximize your profit and to get you the most bang for your buck for every dollar that you spend on advertising. And so essentially what you do is performance campaign number 1, you take the keywords that were the highest performing keywords from your research campaigns, and you add the top 5 performing keywords as an exact match keyword campaign. Similarly, you're going to create another performance campaign. This is performance campaign number 2. And this is going to be a manual product campaign. You're going to find the top 5 performing product targets from your research campaigns, and you're going to add them to this campaign. All right, so let's talk quickly about budgeting and timeline for this, and then I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in my own ad account. All right, so budget and timeline. Again, the research campaigns, you need to gather data. So this is going to take some time, and this is probably the hardest part when you're first starting out, at least it was for me. You're going to have to invest some money in these first couple weeks of advertising that might not necessarily be profitable right out the gate. Essentially, you're adding a new product and Amazon is going to just be throwing that product up everywhere and seeing where it gets sales. And so the goal is to collect data, and you don't want the campaign to run out of budget every day at 9 in the morning because you only set it at $5 a day for your budget. So try to set this budget high enough so that it runs continuously for at least 5 days, and try to resist the urge to make any interventions or optimizations to these campaigns in the first 5 days. So essentially the research campaigns, you're going to set the budget And you want to set that budget high enough so that the campaign runs continuously throughout the day and does not run out of money. And you're going to let that run for 5 days without touching it. After the 5 days, if you start to notice that there's some big red flags, like you're spending, I don't know, $20 a day on a particular product or a particular keyword that's generating 0 sales, you can go in and you can eliminate that from the campaign so that you're not continuing to waste money. But essentially, you want to try to get a good solid 7 days worth of data before you start lowering the daily budget or making major optimizations to these campaigns. Because again, you're trying to collect data. We don't want to restrict this phase of the process, because the more data we get here and the higher quality the data is, the better our performance campaigns will be. And our performance campaigns are where we're actually going to be spending the majority of the ad budget down the line. All right, so you've run research campaigns 1 and 2 for a week, and now you have some data. You're going to take those top performing keywords and products, put them into these performance campaigns, and you should budget about 10% of your revenue for each campaign. So let's say you're doing $500 a day in sales and top line revenue on Amazon. You're going to budget about $50 per campaign per day for these 2 performance campaigns. And because these should be profitable, this should be a good investment. Essentially, the more you spend on these campaigns, the more money you should make, up to a limit, of course, but we don't want to shortchange these, because that's the whole point of why we did the research campaigns, was to filter out only the best, highest performing keywords and products for you to advertise. And now you want to capitalize upon that. All right, so let's go into my ad account. I'll show you how to set it up, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. If you're liking this video and you want to network with other new sellers and learn even more tips and tricks, you can join my free school community. The link is in the description. All right, so from the hamburger menu, you're going to come to advertising, and you're going to go to campaign manager. You're going to click this, and it's going to log you into your campaign manager. All right, once you've logged into your campaign manager, you're going to click this button here, create campaign. And for these first few campaigns, you're going to be working with sponsored product campaigns. Don't worry about these other campaigns for now. Your first campaigns are just going to be sponsored product campaigns. In fact, I just spoke with my brand growth advisor at Amazon, and he said that typically they recommend that 70 to 80% of your ad spend be directed towards sponsored product campaigns, not these other campaigns. So don't feel like you're missing out right now, especially at the beginning. You're just going to focus on sponsored products. You're going to click continue. All right, so that was our campaign, right? We created a sponsored product campaign, and now we're into the ad group. So this is how we're going to add products and how we're going to determine what type of targeting we're going to go after. For this ad group name, I recommend putting in your ASIN here. This will help you find this campaign down the line when you have more products. Okay, so once you've put your ASIN in here for the ad group name, you should see your product here. If you don't, you can search for it, and you're going to add that product over here, and it'll show in the product side. So there we go. I've added a product. Now I'm going to come down here to targeting. Okay, so remember when I said that your first research campaign will be an auto campaign? This is what I'm talking about. So you're going to select automatic targeting here, and this means Amazon is going to target keywords and products that are similar to the product in your ad. For this default bid, I would just leave this alone for now. Amazon has determined this based on your product already, so just leave this alone. You can come back to this after a few days if your spend is over the top. But for now, we're mostly focused on collecting data, and we don't want to run out of budget. Down here, we have negative keyword targeting. Don't worry about this. You're not going to add anything in this step. Similarly, you're not going to add anything for negative product targeting. All right, this is a somewhat new thing that Amazon is doing. These are dynamic bids. You can see this is under the campaign. So the campaign is controlling the bid strategy, and we have several bidding strategies here. We can do dynamic bids up and down, where Amazon will raise your bid by 100% in real time if they think that will get your ad the sale. Likewise, they will lower your bid when they think it's less likely to get a sale. If that's too aggressive for you, you could select dynamic bids down only. So this means they're just going to lower the bid if they think it's less likely that your ad converts. but they won't raise it. Or you can do a fixed bid here, and this will just stick with no matter what value you put in here as your default bid, they will bid that amount every time, no matter what. For the first week or so of this auto campaign, I actually do recommend that you just do the dynamic bids up and down. Remember, this is about data collection. We're not worried about being super profitable with this first week of ads. We just want to collect data. So I would recommend dynamic bids up and down, but just keep in mind that you're likely going to want to come back to this and go at least to dynamic bids down only in the future if your ad spend is getting out of control. For bid adjustments, you're not going to put anything in here. And for settings, again, for the campaign name, I recommend you put the ASIN. And then for the end date, I recommend you don't place an end date. Okay, and now we have the daily budget. And you can see here that Amazon has generated a daily budget based on the product that we entered previously. I recommend you just go with the suggested daily budget. Again, the goal here is to make sure this does not run out throughout the course of the day, and it runs continuously for 5 to 7 days without interruption so that you're collecting data that entire time. Then you're just going to click launch campaign. It'll take some time for this to go live, so don't worry, but then it will populate in your campaign manager, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so once you've created a campaign, it'll show up here in the campaign manager. And we're just going to click one so I can show you exactly what all these terms mean. All right, so you can see we're inside of this campaign and we have the ad group here. And because we've just set up one ad group, you're just going to go ahead and click on this ad group here. And you'll see in the ad group now are the products that you're advertising in the ad group. For you, it's just going to be one product here that will be being advertised, and it'll tell you some data. It'll tell how much you're spending, how many orders it generated, how many sales that equated to, and what your return on ad spend was. You can change these columns to show ACoS as well. ROAS is your return on ad spend. ACoS is how much money you're spending per sale generated. Similar metrics, just kind of two sides of the same coin. But really what I want to show you here is the targeting. So you can see that this ad group is a keyword phrase ad group. Okay, so it's just targeting a keyword phrase. This is kind of the mid-level of specificity. So it's taking the phrase that I put in and showing this ad in several combinations of that keyword phrase. So it might be one or two words from the keyword phrase. It might be all the same words, but just in a different order or something like that. The other two options are exact, which is the narrowest and most restrictive. And so it will only show this ad for people who search the exact keyword phrase that you have in mind without any different spellings, without any different word order, or without any fewer or added keywords to the phrase. And then the next highest up is broad, and broad keyword campaigns are the broadest, like the title says. And that means that they're going to show this ad to people who search that keyword phrase or basically anything remotely close to it. So what does this all mean? It means that if you pull up these search terms here, it's going to show you all of the different ways that it has shown your ad to customers based on what their search term was. So this is how you can go in and you can start seeing, oh, okay, this keyword phrase is not generating any sales and I spent, X amount of money on it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this as a negative exact, and I'm going to remove that from this ad. So essentially I won't be spending any more money to advertise for that keyword phrase. Similarly, if you're finding like, whoa, I'm getting some great results from one of these phrases, this is where you're going to pull that phrase, you're going to copy paste it, and you're going to create your performance campaigns based on those top performing 5 keyword phrases, and you're going to run them as exact campaigns. So you're going to target only that search term exactly as is, and you're going to focus in on your most profitable phrases that you found in your auto campaign, your research campaigns. All right, that's it for this video. Hope that was helpful. Hope to see you in the Skool community, and I'll see you next time.